Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome once again for another round of the Bonnie Bull Show, Man in a Wheelchair. You're welcome. Once again, you're such a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for coming. Some colleague of mine is taking something. I don't know why he's not giving me some. Yeah, we share, okay? But I think we can still share. You know, sharing is caring, right? We even say, you know, giving is a very good virtue. Giving is a very good virtue. There is no question about it. It's only that some people have chosen to specialize in receiving. Okay? There's nothing wrong with giving. I also used to believe that receiving is better until I figured out a situation when you are in a boxing ring. Okay? You know, when you are in a boxing ring, I think it's more prudent to give than to do what? To receive. I don't know why we find a challenge, we adults, when it comes to giving, but I think the children have already mastered the art of receiving and giving. I think when you give a kid, they will feel the responsibility to reciprocate by also receiving. I would request the DJ to play for me that video on the screen. I'm talking about sharing, which is caring. Let us look at that video on the screen. Somebody is giving the little one a cookie. That is now giving, okay? So you can now see how the little one is reciprocating by also giving. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Yes, that's enough, DJ. So you give and you also receive, okay? So that's why I was telling your colleague here that it's important to share, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you are here to laugh. I have a task of making you laugh. It is not an easy task, but I will try my level best. You have traveled all the way to come here and laugh. Making jokes is not so easy. It really takes a lot. But I remember one chemistry teacher who was conducting a very boring afternoon lesson. His biggest challenge was to keep the class awake and lively, because most of them were even dozing. So he tried so many jokes, but they never made sense because they were as boring as his lesson. So in the middle of such a boring lesson, one stubborn student shouted from the back, "The lesson is boring." The teacher said, "Yeah, very boring, just like your head." So everyone laughed, okay? Even those who were asleep were able to wake up and laugh. So that is how the student helped the teacher to crack a joke in the middle of a lesson that was so boring, to the point that even those who were asleep were able to wake up and refresh. So it so happens that making jokes is not so easy, but we try. You will agree with me that school life is so interesting. Most of the fun we have enjoyed in life was the fun we experienced while at school. There was a teacher who was moving from a class, going to the staff room at break time, and while he was walking on the veranda, there was a boy who was hiding in one of the classes. So when he saw the teacher passing, he shouted, "Mr. Chikomeko, you are ugly." He dived under the window. But you see, it is not Mr. Chikomeko, you are ugly, that was interesting. I think what was interesting was the response of Mr. Chikomeko. Immediately after hearing that, Mr. Chikomeko did not stop moving. He did not even look there. But he simply said, "Yeah, I am aware, but are you any better?" You know, we are left wondering how Mr. Chikomeko realized that the boy wasn't any better. yet he didn't even see him, okay? And he didn't look there. Maybe he judged the voice and he was able to tell that the student was not any better. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to be very careful when we are dealing with students, especially when we are dealing with the kids. Kids have the choice and the option to embarrass you at any time, especially if you don't calculate your statements and your interaction with them. There was a gentleman who was traveling in a bus, and he was seated next to a young boy of 7 years who spent the entire journey enjoying sweets. As a concerned elder, he looked at this little boy consuming sweets throughout the journey, and he told him that, you see, I've seen you taking sweets since we boarded this bus, but are you aware that sweets are not good for your teeth? The boy said, but you see, my grandfather lived 100 years. And the traveler asked, was he also taking sweets like you? The boy said, no. He was always minding his own business. So that is how the boy put the adult in his place, by simply telling him, mind your own business. So that's why sometimes you need to be very careful. There was another interesting story of a young boy who was trying to jump and reach a switch at the gate to press the bell so that they can open the gate. But because he was short and he could not reach there, there was a priest coming from church. So the priest who was coming from church saw a struggling young boy trying to reach a switch. As an adult, he tried to be of service, so he went closer to the boy, asked him, what's wrong? Do you want to press the bell? The boy said, yeah, I want to press the bell. Then the priest pressed the bell on his behalf. Immediately after pressing the bell, the boy picked his bike and told the priest, let us run before they open. Such kind of embarrassment. Are you also going to run with the boy, or you're going to stay there and wait for people to open the gate? And maybe explain to them that it's not you who was actually pressing the bell, yet it's actually you. Okay? There was a visitor who came to a certain place, and he was so shocked that the kids spent the entire day watching TV. So he was interacting with one of the eldest boys in a house and told him that, you see, when I was your age, I used to work 12 hours a day. Then the kid said, wow, 12 hours a day? How old were you by the time you realized how stupid it was for a kid of my age to work 12 hours a day? So now the guest thought that he was making a point, but he was making a point to the wrong person, okay? That was not the good avenue for making such jokes. Now I also had another scenario. I was renting somewhere, and one of the challenges I used to face were the neighbors' kids who used to play around my compound, darting it all the time. So we had literally specialized. I was doing the cleaning and they were doing the darting. So every time I got done with the cleaning, within a minute or two, the boys would come and darten the place. So one day I got so pissed. Immediately after cleaning, kids came and played and dartened the place. I moved out, I slapped one of the eldest boys around, and I told him never to come and play around my house. I even reminded him that it's not my age mate. So the boy moved a few steps away from me. He stood a few meters away from me. He also said, but I'm not also your age mate. I don't know if that second statement was necessary, because by the mere fact that I told him that it's not my age mate, there was no need for him to tell me that I'm not also his age mate. But basically, those are kids. We You just need to understand them. That is how they behave. We just need to be a little bit slow when we are interacting with them, otherwise they may shame us. There is another video that I wanted you to run. Next. Let us watch that video. Guys, stress is real. If you can watch that video, stress is real. Some nigger has parked his bike in the middle of the road. So he has parked his bike in the middle of the road. He has sat by the roadside and is not bothered. But I don't know if you have watched the patience of the motorist. They have the patience to pass around the bike without knocking it. And I really don't think that can be in a country like Uganda. That can't be in Uganda. We know our motorists, okay? You park your bike in the middle and you think guys will bypass it. It has to be a different country. If it was a quiz, I would be asking you guys which country that is. If it's not Finland, then it's supposed to be Switzerland, okay? Where people are a little bit peaceful, okay? They are patient. And they are also honest, okay? Especially the honesty is very key here. Research has carried out a test to establish the level of honesty of people in different countries. And this test was called the dropped wallet test. Now, in the dropped wallet test, researchers prepared 192 wallets. In each one of these wallets, they would put $50. They would put a family photo. They would put a business card. They would also put a cell phone number to enable whoever picks this wallet to trace the owner. Now, they kept on dropping these wallets in major cities around the world. And they just wanted to find out how honest people in these cities can be, especially in terms of returning the wallets. Now, in each city, 12 wallets were dropped. And these were the results, very interesting results. The country that won this test was Finland. 12 wallets were dropped in Helsinki, which is the capital city of Finland. And out of the 12 wallets, 11 were reported and were picked and reported. So you can see you drop 12 wallets in a city and 11 of them are brought back. You can imagine that level of honesty, okay? But when you look at Finland, Finland is a quiet and small country with a closely knit society, with the low levels of corruption. The people are humble and trustworthy. Actually, this is one country where they don't even run red lights. Okay? So it is not surprising that 11 people would return wallets out of the 12 that were dropped. The next country was India, Mumbai. Out of the 12 wallets that were dropped in Mumbai, 9 of them were returned. Now, when you look at India with a population of around 1.2 billion people, you would think that there would be chaos here. But surprisingly, these people are very honest. So they were able to return 9 out of the 12 wallets. Then next was Hungary, Budapest, the capital city of Hungary. Out of the 12, they were able to return 8. USA, actually New York, also 8 were recovered from the 12. However, out of the 8 that were recovered from New York, 1 did have $50. The good thing that the person who picked that wallet reported himself that, you see, I'm bringing back the wallet, but you forgive me, I used the $50 to buy a cigarette. But that's also honesty for sure. Then next was Moscow, the capital of Russia. Russia managed to pick 7 out of the 12. So they reported 7 out of the 12. And surprisingly, the person in Russia who picked one of those 7 wallets was a security officer. Sometimes you may sit down and think that maybe security officers are not well paid and therefore they don't deserve to be honest. But one of the Russians who picked the 7 wallets was a security officer. Next, after Russia, was Amsterdam, the capital of Netherlands. They also returned 7. They also returned 7 out of the 12. From there, we went to Berlin. Berlin managed to return 6 out of the 12. That's the capital of Germany. Now there is London. London brought back 5 out of the 12. So 5 came from London, the capital of Britain. But this is a little bit shocking. I would expect Britain to return more than 5. Okay? These are surprised people, they are educated. These are guys who almost colonized the rest of the world. But 5 only. Now, these researchers didn't waste time with Uganda because obviously now in Uganda the results are predicted. You drop 12, what do you expect to receive? By the way, in Uganda, they don't even wait for you to drop wallets. They come and snatch it from you, okay? So that is how special we are as a country. So there was no need to carry out a test in Uganda. But you see, these tests are not just about honesty of people, but there are so many implications. For instance, you are able to know the kind of country you can go to as a tourist and you feel safe, especially with your property. In case you lost something, people can always bring it back. Okay? Secondly, investors will also be able to know which country you can now invest in, and employees don't frustrate your business. See, we have a culture of frustrating investors who come to put money here and develop our country. So that is the dropped wallet test, and those were the results. For Uganda, we did participate. Reasons very clear. You know, I like the way music separates generation and class, okay? So you can only listen to the kind of music people are enjoying, and then you can predict their age, okay? Yes. So I also wanted to be a musician. Actually, when I was growing up, I told my dad that when I grow up, I want to become a musician. And he laughed. He said, "Son, you can't be both." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "You cannot be a musician and at the same time grow up. You have to choose one." So now, thank you so much, DJ, for the oldies. This is our music, okay? Yes, this is our music. You can still see our age, okay? Yes, based on the music we are listening to. Yeah, now we are back. Thank you so much. Let us come back for comedy again. You guys look stressed, which is okay. You are enjoying the place, okay? It's all yours. Nobody should interrupt you, okay? Yes. You even have more space there. You can put one leg here, another one there. Very space. Actually, somebody was telling me that if you want all the space in the world, just stand in dress and move with a few stones in your hands, okay? So people will run away from you. They will give you all the space. Nobody wants to risk being near a mad person, okay? No one wants to risk being near a mad person, apart from maybe your relatives. Sometimes even your relatives can run, okay? There is even, our forefathers have a saying that the dance of a madman is very interesting, especially if that madman is not your relative. We can enjoy these madmen moving around and mad women. simply because they are not our relatives. But the moment they become our relatives, it becomes a different story altogether. And I think I have a big concern. Every town, every village, every city has a mad woman who happens to be pregnant. So if there is a mad woman in every city, every town, and every village, and this mad woman happens to be pregnant, then we are left wondering who claims these people. Who claims these people and makes them pregnant? Because at least we are very sure it's not by artificial insemination. So men, we need to check ourselves. I think men are braver at night than during day. That's why I think sometimes we are able to do such things. These people need to be protected. They shouldn't really be taken advantage of the way we do it. It's really bad. Actually, we should stand with them. These are our brothers, these are our sisters, we need to stand with them. Every 10th of October, I would love to take this opportunity to inform everybody here, every 10th of October is World Mental Health Day. It is a day strategically located in the history of Uganda. Now, if 9th October is Uganda's independence, and then 10th October is World Mental Health Day, then it means these dates are close to each other. Now, the closeness of these dates is not by accident, neither is it by coincidence. I think there is a reason. There is a very big reason. I would love to inform everybody here that this country now needs more psychiatrists than ever before, for reasons that are obvious. Statistics are showing currently that 25% of adults in Uganda are mentally ill. A shocking figure. 25% of adults in Uganda are mentally ill. Now, if that figure is a little bit difficult to understand, it means in every 4 people, 1 is mad. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4 people. So you are a pack of 4. 1 of you is mad. You can even go ahead and establish who exactly is mad out of those 4. That is still very simple. Now, if you are 4, look at your other 3 friends. If none of them is mad, then you are the mad guy. So that is the level we have reached as a country. And we should not take these statistics just for granted. They mean a lot. If you have not gone to some of these facilities where these people are kept, then you may not know what is happening. There was an interesting scenario during one of the official visits the president makes in different places in the country. The president happened to go to Butabika Hospital just to pay a visit. Now, when he reached Butabika Hospital, one of the mad people in there came straight to the president. Security wanted to stop him, but the president requested that they let him come. Of course, they were supposed to remain on standby. So when the mad guy came next to the president, he looked straight into his face and he asked him, "Who are you?" The president said, "I am the president of Uganda." "You are what?" "I am the president of Uganda." The nigger hysterically laughed for the next 2 minutes. And the president was wondering why the lunatic was laughing. Then after laughing, he said, "You said you are the president of Uganda." He said, "Yeah, I'm the president." He said, "Don't worry. You will get fine. You will heal. Even me, when they had brought me here, I had called myself president of Uganda." So just relax. Okay? That's what happens. I think in his opinion, he thought the president had also been brought. Okay? So these guys are there. We have not got a chance to meet them because maybe we don't have a close family member who has been sent there. There was also another interesting story of a certain man who was walking near a mental rehab. While he was passing near the facility, he heard people shouting and singing, "They are 8, they are 8, they are 8, they are 8. Now, he wanted to know who are those 8. These guys were singing. So he went closer to the fence. When he went closer to the fence, he looked for a hole. Fortunately, he found one. So he tried to peep through the hole to see what was happening inside. But as he looked through the hole, he discovered that on the other end of the hole, there was a toy pistol strategically targeting his eye. And by the time he decided to withdraw, it was too late. The niggas, the other side, pulled the trigger and they sprayed pepper in his eyes. So he jumped out in pain while shouting. And what is very interesting, the niggas started shouting. Remember, they were originally shouting, "They are 8, they are 8. They started shouting, "They are now 9, they are 9. Meaning that was the 9th victim that day, okay? So curiosity can drive you into trouble, especially where you have no business. And maybe this is how these guys spend their free time. Yes, that's how they spend their leisure. They always get unsuspecting victims. So please don't be a victim if you happen to pass near a mental facility. But ladies and gentlemen, putting fun aside, I think we need to sympathize with the medical staff in a special way. We need to sympathize with the medical staff who manage these people. You know, these are people we can't manage as family, and we forward them to these mental facilities. But you can imagine the doctors who manage them on a daily basis. Okay? These are guys who do not reason like the rest of us. But at the end of the day, they need to be managed. Actually, there was an incident where one of the lunatics in a mental facility happened to access a knife. When he accessed a knife, he started running terribly towards the doctor. They ran to every corner of the compound. They moved through corridors. They ran terribly. The doctor was being chased by a madman holding a knife. You can imagine such a situation. The doctor ran, he got tired, he fell down. He raised his hands, asking God to take him in peace. But you see, when the madman reached him, he didn't stab him. He simply gave him the knife and said, "It's now your turn to chase." So now, for him, it was a joke. He thought you were joking, you were running. Now, as a mental doctor, when they give you the knife, what do you now chase? What do you do? So it's a very, very trying moment for these guys, but in a special way, we need to recognize and appreciate them. It's not very easy, okay? These guys can do anything, okay? Thank God he was only chasing. But if he was chasing to stab, you get such a situation. Somebody was telling me of a story of a thief. You know, being a thief is a special talent, but it also takes a lot of risk. A thief broke into a house to steal a TV. Luckily enough, he entered the house. He didn't know that there was somebody. All the members of the family had left, but they had left behind one of the members who was not mentally okay, and he was in the bedroom. So the thief lifted the TV. As he was trying to move out, the nigger who was left home woke up. He came to the sitting room only to find somebody getting out of the house with a TV. That's when the chase started. The thief ran with the TV. The madman ran after the thief. After around a half a kilometer of running, the thief, because when he was carrying a TV, he was overpowered. He fell down with his TV. The madman came closer to him and he gave him a remote. You know, you are taking a TV without a remote. So here is the remote. After giving him the remote, he went back home. So these are the people. These are the people, but like I said, they need our love, they need our care. But above all, apart from talking about the jokes and what these people do, we need to establish exactly the real cause of the mental illnesses in this country. And as we look at the real causes, we should not underestimate the fact that drugs are the major contributing factors. Ladies and gentlemen, drugs are the major contributing factor when we come to mental health. Okay? You know, when you take drugs, anything can happen. I was having a show similar to this one, and I teased my audience. I asked my audience to push their hands into their pockets. They were so obedient, they pushed their hands into their pockets. And then I asked them, if you have pushed your hand into your pocket, do you feel the keys to your house? That was a turning point question. Do you feel the keys to your house in your pocket? One Rastafarian who was seated at the bar said, "Aya, Mulagai, Mushimanyi when Nagat way one. I left the keys behind and I came with a padlock." That is the power of guilt. That is the power of guilt. So he locked the house, he left the keys home, he came with a padlock. So he left the show unceremoniously because he had to run back home and save his property. That is weed. From personal experience, I have been convinced by a colleague to try weed. You know, I am a very responsible gentleman, but out of curiosity and love for adventure, I listened to a friend and I tested once. Now, unfortunately, after testing, the colleague who convinced me left. So I was left alone. 1 hour later, I started looking for myself. Technically, I looked for myself. I went to the compound looking for myself. I didn't find myself there. I went to the store, I wasn't there. I came to the kitchen looking for myself. I didn't find myself in the kitchen. I thought I should try the sitting room. I wasn't in the sitting room. I said now the last option should be the bedroom. I went to the bedroom. Equally, I didn't find myself in the bedroom. I checked under the bed, I checked in the wardrobe, I went to the bathroom, I wasn't there. Now I realized that I needed to do the needful. Probably go to the police and report a missing person. But as I was moving out of the bedroom, I passed in front of the dressing mirror. I saw myself. I said, "Good God, to me, you've been here. You almost scared the hell out of me. I looked for you everywhere, I couldn't find you. Please stop those jokes." Okay? Now, that is weed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is weed. So, as we look at mental health, we cannot rule out such causes. Thank you so much. You know, I like music. Like I told you, I wanted to be a musician. It's only that I'm in a wheelchair. Otherwise, if I was not, I would be dancing for you. There is some young lady who told me, "Man in a wheelchair, you can't dance." You know, I simply laughed at this young lady. But I was almost tempted to ask her, but where do you get the courage to make such careless statements? that I don't know how to dance. I've ever been in my bedroom. You know, me when I'm in my bedroom, I play music and I dance. I'm so shy, I find it hard to dance in public. But at least when I'm alone, I do the dancing, okay? Yes. In Uganda, anything is possible, by the way, okay? You can dance privately, okay? Yes. Only that dancing is a little bit funny. It is safer you dance during the day, otherwise when you dance at night, people may interpret it differently. People who dance at night are called night dancers, right? So I try my level best not to dance at night. I dance during day. Anything is possible in this country. By the way, I love this country so much. Everything that cannot happen in other countries can happen in Uganda. True or false? It is only in Uganda where abnormal things happen and they end up being normal. Take an example. Are you aware it is only in Uganda where you can get your driving license first and then you learn how to drive later? Only here. Other countries, you need to learn how to drive first. Here, you get the driving license before you learn how to drive. Only here. By the way, to hit that road, the drivers here will understand and they will stand with me. For you to be able to go on the road and drive, you need to equip yourself with a basket of insults somewhere here to throw back to fellow motorists, just to get even in case they try to attack you. Okay? There is a lot of insults that can be thrown onto you when you're on the road. So, to be able to defend yourself, you have to throw back. Now, it is bad news to some of us who drive our kids from school to home. Okay? You have to raise the window up before a boda guy throws a heavy insult inside your car. Very hot, such that you almost jump out of the car through the window. Okay? So it happens. It is only in this country. Anything can happen. You take your car to a mechanic and you ask him to fix the brakes. Then later in the evening, you go to pick your car. You find that he didn't fix the brakes, but he made the horn louder. And you confidently tell him and say, "Ah, brakes zaganye." Naye engombe yo kati eri clear. Nechigala kuvira no ita, okay? So that is Uganda. Imagine such a country. Okay? By the way, if you have dry cells, they get exhausted, okay? Or they run down. It's only here where you can bite them such that they can work for 2 extra days. Or even put them in sunshine. You can imagine the level of compromise. Okay? By the way, on a sad note, 65% of the vehicles we drive in Uganda don't have functional airbags. It's on record. 65% of the vehicles we drive in Uganda don't have functional airbags. What does it mean? In case of a car crash, you die like a warrior. You die like a man. You flex muscles with metal. That's what it means. Okay? So, the other time I was coming from bar, by the way, I think ladies in here, I'm so sorry, but I have to make this. I don't know why women find it so obscene to spend their own money. Women will do whatever it takes to avoid spending their own money. But they would expect someone else to spend. Last week, I was coming from a bar and I saw 5 girls climbing one boda board. 5. You know, I wanted to suggest that the boda man stays, the girls take themselves, and maybe one of them brings back the board. But I think I was supposed to mind my own business. I did try. The other time I was at Frango restaurant, and 10 girls stormed the restaurant, 10 of them. All they could afford to order was a pizza, the one you call pita, whatever you call it, which was sliced into 6 pieces. And there are 10 girls, the pizza has 6 pieces. I watched them closely to find out how they were going to share. But technically they shared it. I think some of them were just there to smell the pizza and take pics. Women find it so miserable and nasty. They never enjoy themselves when they go alone as ladies. There must be a man to go and do the spending. And in that respect, I request the men in this place to clap for yourselves. Thank you so much for making it. Without you, I really don't know if women will be going out. I really don't know if women will be going out. Because when they try it themselves, they only compromise on everything. But because men exist, God is so good. And for the men out there, this is just a special message to the men. I always share it with my male friends. Find time. Go to the bank, withdraw 200,000 shillings. Go to a good restaurant. Order for good food. Remove your shirt and hang it on a nail and enjoy your food. For the first time, sit down and enjoy your money. How many times should we remind you that you are the engine? By the way, if you don't enjoy your money, the people called next of kin will not even appreciate the kind of sacrifice you're making to save wealth or to create wealth for them. They will never appreciate. I used to think that next of kin meant the person who pays your loan in a bank in case you fail to pay. Later on, I discovered that no, next of kin means the person who will chop and enjoy the money they never worked for when you die. So why don't you enjoy your money before you die? Yes, I mean, it's prudent. It's your money. It's your sweat. It's your effort. Find time and enjoy your money. Now, I've seen people writing wills, distributing wealth for people to enjoy, which is okay. There's no problem. But there is one man who made a record of writing the shortest will ever. His will was the shortest in history. And this is how it reads. Being an adult of sound mind, I sold all my property and I enjoyed all my money. So, I think in such kind of situation, your next of kin will go and piss on your grave. One man, before dying, instructed people to write on his tombstone some information which they accordingly did when he passed on. And this is the information on his tombstone. The fools who are currently enjoying my money cannot even bring flowers on my grave. Is that what you are waiting to write? When you are still alive, please eat part of your money. There is no crime. There is no crime. There is a rich tycoon. He was 87 years old. He was on his deathbed and he was dying in a time. So he demanded that they bring all his grandchildren and such that they see him. There were around 15 grandkids, the youngest being around 12 years and the oldest being around 32. they all came and stood before their grandfather. The old man looked at them for some few minutes. They also looked at him, and then he finally said, "Fuck you, all of you, fuck you, fuck the motherfucker." You see, it was a little bit crazy. But of course, anything is expected from a dying man. But you see, it was too hard to take, especially for these little ones standing in front of him. They couldn't believe. They were so shocked. They looked at each other. Some of them even started crying. But one boy amongst them looked at his grandfather straight in the eyes and said, "Fuck you too, useless old man, go to hell." Then he said, "Let's go." He was mobilizing the rest. But as they were moving out of the room, the old man said, wait, hold on, stop, especially you, pointing at the one who had insulted him back. You, wait. So they stopped, and the young man turned and looked at his grandpa. He said, "Congratulations, you are my heir." You are my heir. You know, it takes an equally aggressive person to manage the kind of wealth I'm leaving behind. So, clap for him, he's my heir. So, you see, so many crazy things happen. I didn't know that could also be a test for finding out who qualifies to be heir or not. So if you are in a family, and your grandfather or father is about to die, go and tell him, "Fuck you." You never know. He may choose you as the heir, okay? But I won't take my advice for gospel truth. If they slap you from there, it's your fault. I don't know if we are in the same economy, you and me, but I think the economy has sunk its teeth into our flesh, and it's biting us to the bone. Things are not so good. Everyone is complaining, things are not good. But at least me, I'm a little bit okay. I will not complain like you. I have a fallback position. That's the advantage I have. The economy is hitting us, but it is hitting me differently, okay? I'm not like the rest of you. I am safer. I'm safer because at least I have a hen in the village, and it's even laying eggs. So you can imagine such a fallback position that I have. I'm only praying that I don't get that phone call from the village, because such phone calls are common. When they tell you your uncle got drunk, he slaughtered and cooked your hen by accident. So you can imagine how somebody can frustrate you financially to such an extent. I'm here boasting in town that I have a hen laying eggs. Then the day my uncle gets drunk, the hen might be history. That's what happened. So I've seen quite a number of people here. I don't know. Some of you are not so familiar. Excuse me. For how long have you been in Uganda, for instance, that gentleman? You don't look like one of us. Okay? You're so special. The skin, the smile, the vibe. Have you been in Germany before? You have been in Finland. You're one of the honest guys we have been talking about. Exactly. Thank you so much for coming to Uganda. Let us pray that Ugandans don't teach you bad manners. For us, we put things upside down, okay? Yes, by the way, tycoons in Europe and America are now tired of explaining to their children what poverty means. They are tired. They keep explaining to them what poverty means, but it is a far-fetched concept. So when they get tired of explaining to them what they do, they send them on trips in Africa, okay, to get the practical and first-hand information about the property they are only talking about. Okay? So we are a blessed continent. We are training ground for those who want to know what poverty means. So let me hope that you are also learning since you are from Finland. Okay? Yes, that is good. So how was the flight, by the way? Let me hope the flight was okay. Okay? Yes, you know, death is bad, but death is comparable. That's the beauty of it. Death is comparable. I would rather die of a plane crash than a bicycle knocking me down. You can imagine you are crossing the railway, a bicycle knocks you down, they take you straight to your ancestral ground for burial. But you see, it is so special to die in a plane crash. First of all, you die executive, and you get all the international broadcasts. You can imagine. Okay, you don't die like a commoner. Okay, after a plane crash, it is called the International Aviation Safety Assessment Team. Okay, IASA will be sent to establish the cause of the crash. And then they will also be investigating how you died. You can imagine all that prestige, okay? So, you rather die of a plane crash. I know death is bad, okay? But you rather die of a plane crash than a border accident for sure, okay? Yes, but again, I think everything has advantages and disadvantages. Just imagine you are flying up there and then you get information from the pilots. Our esteemed passengers, we have bad news and good news. The good news is that we are landing any time from now. You know that excitement. Yay, we are about to land! And the bad news, it's gonna be an emergency landing, because we have run out of fuel. Where is the excitement going on? And these guys are specific. They will tell you, right now we are flying at 1,750 feet above the mighty Atlantic Ocean. And any time from now, we are going to swim. If you have a rosary, please hold it. And thank you so much for flying with British Airways. This is not even flying, this time it is swimming. Imagine the sarcasm. They end the announcement by thanking you for flying with British Airways, and please always do when we are going to die. So, but imagine dying in a plane before you even marry, before you even produce kids, before you even tell your crush that you love her so much or you love him so much. Oh my God. It is really terrible. But you see, death is death. Once it happens, that's why when somebody points a gun at you, I think you don't need to run. First of all, why should you? Do you know the average speed of a 9mm bullet? Can you run faster than a bullet? No. Secondly, why do you even struggle running? Do you want to go to your grave tired? Just relax. The nigger shoots you. He makes your birth certificate a useless document, because I'm told when you die, you no longer need the birth certificate. You now need the death certificate. So I really don't want to talk about death, because some of you may even fear going home. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.